Hello and welcome to the introductory video of what's new in Trimble Business Center version 5.20. What I'll be talking about in this presentation is some main messaging and features around TBC version 5.20, as well as some key additional features and enhancements, and then some resources for learning more about Trimble Business Center and particularly the new stuff that we've added in version 5.20. All right, so how are we positioning TBC version 5.20? TBC 5.20 attempts to be the complete survey and construction office software, enabling field-to-finish workflows with confidence. How we do this is through our field-to-finish workflow support. I'd like to talk a little bit about those right now. So one of the really unique things about TBC is the ability to handle field data in its raw format. So we don't like working with XYZ points. You're welcome to, but in TBC we have the ability with our Trimble instrumentation and select other third-party data sources to work with the raw information. So this screenshot here is a great indication of what I'm talking about, where the panel on the left is the plan view. And what you see there is a series of green vectors out to points. Those points are just like points, like any other points. However, those green vectors are the optical observation from the station setup. In this case, it's an SX10 station setup, and you're working with those, or you can view those in our properties or in our spreadsheet tools. So if, for example, you needed to change an instrument height, and you caught that, hey, all of the field data is a meter too low. You can change that instrument height in TBC, and then all of the topo data would move up by that distance and dynamically update. The middle pane there, and with the SX10, the ability to leverage point clouds now easier and more accessible than ever before for the modern day surveyor and construction professional. Having the ability to view in a 3D space classified or realistically colorized point cloud as well in TBC with that raw data. And then in addition, images and that station view there to the right, being able to really see what the total station saw and what the field crew saw in the field, inside of Trimble Business Center inside the office. So that's our first kind of main workflow. Our second one that we've been known for, that we've built our reputation on for over the years, has been the adjustment and COGA routines. So world leading, industry leading GNSS baseline post-processing, along with traverse adjustment, level data adjustment, least squares adjustment in the network adjustment routine. The third here in our trip is in the CAD and drafting space. So ability to use very powerful geometry creation tools, from line work to points to now getting into more and more imagery data, and integrating them into drafting or digital deliverables. There, you've got a split screen of a plan and profile set, all created within a single office software package, TBC. Leveraging those digital models and those digital geometries to create very dense and very accurate surface models and being able to compute volumes. This was a project that I did many, many years ago with some aerial photogrammetry data. Much quicker to do surface and volumetric work from a dense point cloud than anything else, and that's the same supported in Trimble Business Center, just like your GNSS or total station data. We support parametrically designed corridor information for both tunneling and roading applications. So create your cross-section templates and your profiles and integrate them in a dynamic and parametrically constrained relationship there to build out roading and tunneling applications. For data prep, so we say field to finish. This is more like finish to field. So taking designs, both CAD or PDF, from the engineer and or designer or architect, and digitalizing them, preparing a surface model, preparing line work to go out into the field in data collectors or in machine control grade systems or the like, as well as takeoff and mass haul. So the easiest way to explain this is anything that can be quantified for takeoff applications, for bid preparations, or for in-field design or contractors' estimations for some RFIs or from some potential change orders here, all supported within TBC. And then specialty solutions. I've got a screenshot here of some area photogrammetry data directly in TBC, but GIS, drilling and piling, utility modeling, I guess point clouds would fall into this, although point clouds are becoming less and less specialized and more mainstream. But all of these different vertical applications supported for the surveyor, for the construction personnel in one Trimble Business Center package. What this means here now, and where we're positioning ourselves in Trimble Business Center is at the center of all of this. This may look like your daily or regular workflow where you feel like you're using all of these different survey sensor types and survey packages and cloud-based applications, and where we're trying to position TBC, and we've started and we're doing a good job so far, and we'll continue to build out, is at the center of this confusing or complicated environment, from things all the way out to the left there with Trimble Access, traditional GNSS, DINI, total station observations, to new X7, Trimble X7. I'll be talking a little bit more about that in this presentation, to scanning workflows and interfacing with Trimble RealWorks. Jumping over to the right with more attribute and feature-based definitions and workflows with GIS, mobile mapping workflows, to bouncing around to different CAD packages. We're trying to be the survey and construction CAD package. We're not trying to displace design packages. We want to work with the likes of the Autodesks and the Bentleys and the Esri databases of the world, and supporting not just the Trimble hardware, but third-party hardware as well there from the likes of Trimble's competitors and UAV solutions as well. And some of you have maybe been jumping into cloud-based applications and processing and workflows. I'll be talking extensively about Trimble Clarity, recently released at the time of this recording, Sync Manager, using the Trimble Connect cloud platform, and structural applications, BIM workflows. TBC and its support of IFC is now enabling surveyors to be a part of that BIM conversation. So Trimble Business Center, along with all of these sensors, we've got kind of our flagships there, our SX10, our MX9 mobile mapping system right next to our big Trimble Business Center logo right at the center of this. But we're continuing to position and build out our functionality and our roadmap around as that single data source, that single data hub for all of your data. And how we did that with version 5.20 is strengthening TBC's position as that central data hub for both new and established Trimble field to finish workflows. And how we did that was through a couple of supports for hardware and software products. The one first being the Trimble X7 laser scanner, and that data can come directly, seamlessly into Trimble Business Center and our scanning functionality through known point cloud registration, georeferencing, classification, and extraction tools. The second is the ability for TBC to prepare CAD models for visualization in Trimble Sight Vision augmented reality system. And the third is to allow Trimble Business Center to publish survey data and point cloud information to visualize and interact with in the new Trimble Clarity online geospatial data viewer. I want to dive into those big three here a little bit more. and first talk about the Trimble X7 support in TBC version 5.20. So the interface is a simple drag and drop from Trimble Perspective data files. Trimble Perspective is the onboard tablet field collection software that interfaces with the X7. They're shown in the upper right screenshot. We support perspective scan labels, field annotations, and images within existing TBC's features and functionalities to really eliminate a learning curve. If you're an SX10 user or if you're a user of TBC, there's nothing really much to learn new to support Trimble X7. There's existing functionality in TBC that we've enhanced and built out to support the X7 better, and I will talk about that here momentarily. And so overall, the message for TBC is that X7 data seamlessly integrates with TBC's scanning workflows, existing scanning workflows, and those scanning workflows have only been improved, as well as with other survey data, CAD, and drafting functionality. All right. Get a little bit more specific here. Annotations. So in the field, you have the ability to denote something like this shown in this screenshot. Yeah, that's a trash receptacle, or that's a park bench for this park topo. We support those in TBC as points with scan observation vectors. Think of the scan observation vector like a total station observation. Notes from perspective are also stored within the point information properties. So anything that you make in perspective in terms of an annotation, along with some additional information stored as a note, will come through in TBC under the point and the point properties. And just like any point in TBC, it can be used for feature coding or drafting or reporting workflows as well. All right, the scan labels are assigned to the selection set objects and configured within the Selection Explorer pane within TBC. So you can use these selection sets in View Filter Manager to refine and manipulate the display and the handling of the X7 data. You have the ability to toggle views of subselections of X7 data. So for example, you can display scan data found in the northwest and the ballpark selection sets. So each one of these station setups in the field can have one or more scan labels. So that really allows you to do some overlap in terms of what you want to see. If you want to geographically denote, yep, this is in the northern part of the project, but hey, I'm on that baseball diamond there, or this is in the northern part of the project, but I'm in the by the trash receptacles. Then you can come back into TBC and say, well, you know, I want to view data in the northern part of the project, but I don't care about the trash receptacles. Just show me northern part with the baseball diamond, for example. Then you can assign any data in TBC to that same X7 selection set, or simply just isolate the X7 selection set. So a great way to group data coming in from the X7, and as well as some way to integrate data from other sensors into TBC via the selection set. All right, how TBC handles images. Images from the X7 can be created as panoramas or media files upon import, or we will honor the panoramas in the TBC station view, just like SX10 panoramas in the station view in TBC. From there, you can create rectified images or measure points in the virtual DR mode, or publish to the new Trimble Clarity. A new feature with the X7 in TBC is that you'd be able to create JPEGs directly from the X7 images upon import and using TBC as a media file, or you can take those JPEGs and do whatever you wish to do with them in any other JPEG format, just like any other picture. This creation is optional and it occurs just when you import the data into TBC. We also have the ability to colorize point clouds from the images. This colorization can occur on board in the perspective software or upon import into TBC. This is optional. You can quickly work with field data in TBC without colorization. All right, the second main feature in TBC version 5.20 is Trimble Clarity. So what is Clarity? Clarity is an online worldview interface with published geospatial data associated. So while Clarity is online, we can host files locally or in Trimble Connect or in Google Drive or Dropbox, really wherever you want your data to reside. The interface is intuitive to view in 3D or within a station view. You can make measurements, you can annotate features, you can save frames, and you can share with others. The Clarity allows you to manage unlimited amount of points, point clouds, images, and models to really drive client insights and actions and conversations with you, potentially being able to connect with maybe non-geospatial or non-visually minded folks where you can provide them a nice visual, interactive, simple, intuitive environment to view project data that they've hired you for. I would encourage you to visit clarity.trimble.com to sign up for a free 2-project account of Trimble Clarity and to learn more there. The benefit for our TBC users in TBC version 5.20 is the publish to Clarity routine. What we can do there is in TBC is prepare data in TBC by filtering out the point cloud or processing station-based imagery or reducing survey data. Pretty much whatever you were going to do with your data to begin with, whether that's SX10, whether that's X7, whether that's a third-party point cloud, and then you can publish that data into Clarity through desktop conditioning and an upload to the Trimble cloud of that data set. You can continue in Trimble Clarity, making geospatial data accessible in a friendly online user interface. Additional data prep in TBC can be done for the Sight Vision AR. That system is a handheld augmented reality system there shown on the desk of the screenshot there all the way to the left on this slide. And how TBC fits into this picture is that you can prepare data from existing CAD files or use TBC's CAD tools and modules or use reduce the field data in TBC. Use corridor or surface or utility modeling data. You'd be able to move from TBC and get that model into Sight Vision using our dedicated exporter, which is a VCL-based Sight Vision AR, or using any one of the numerous standard industry standard formats that Sight Vision supports, such as LAN XML or IFC, DXF, DWG, a couple more there as well. And then in Sight Vision, you can use for visualization or virtual staking, cut fill maps, inspection, construction verification, utility locates, boundary verification was a good one that's come up here recently. Any number of applications where you'd like to see design or CAD information overlaid into real world conditions in real time with a GPS accurate correction source there in that Catalyst unit and the Bring Your Own Device Android system. I encourage you to seek out some more information from Sight Vision to learn a little bit more than I can offer you here in this TBC presentation. All right, so those are the big 3. Of course, we've got additional features and enhancements. I'd really like to talk to you a little bit more about them here. And this is most of them. I say most of them because check out the release notes and the README for a complete list of new features and enhancement that we've shipped with TBC version 5.20 or the release notes and READMEs are also available on our TBC website, trimble.com/TBC. Quick summary there. Let's dive in a little bit further. All right, so to support the X7, we have enhanced the Selection Explorer. And how we did that was to make it a little bit clearer to use and delineate separately where you work with the selection set entities or the actual selection sets versus the objects that are included in those selection sets. So we've separated working with the selection sets. They're in the top, that top red box. You can see there's CAD objects, ground, and the Westfield Village Park selection set. So there's 3 selection sets in this project, and there's 241 objects in the Westfield Village Park. And those 241 objects there are listed in the lower box, and work and modifications and additions and subtractions can be done from that box. So where this matters and why you should care is that you can use selection sets with X7, or like I said, any other data in TBC to group data together and aid in the vFilter manager to refine the objects being displayed in your project. All right, we have simplified and enhanced the process panoramas and export enhancements, or export command, excuse me. We've streamlined the command functionality, so pretty much the process panoramas processes and modifies panoramas using some blending techniques, as well as the station panorama exporter will complete a export. So process, do your processing, export command, do the exporting. This simplifies and clarifies the command functionality. We have imported the ability now directly in TBC to take CSVs and write them to FXLs and vice versa. This is, I'm talking feature coding now. So you'll be able to convert feature libraries to and from Trimble's FXL file format directly within TBC. What this allows you to do is to leverage the same feature code libraries across third-party CAD packages, export or get that data out in a CSV, do the matching and the mapping right to an FXL, and use that FXL in TBC and in Trimble Access. Match and assign these codes, styles, and attributes one time, save as an FXL, and then reuse across your office and field crews. And if you pass data along to engineers or designers or people who are not using TBC or Trimble products, those attributes and those codings can come through exactly the same. All right, there's a set of really cool, powerful parametric vertical design tools. So vertical meaning elevation, assist. So when you're looking to elevate lines via parametric relationships, we've got cross slope and elevation, and cross deltas elevation, and 11 different rules here in 5.20 to help you elevate lines. What this can do and what this means for you is it helps you model complex and variable relationships, such as intersection curb cuts or cross slope transitions along roadways or field sites. As rules updates, the geometry updates, and then as the geometry updates, the surface will also dynamically update. I've got a good example here to talk through with you. We've got two 2D lines there, as you can see. I'm going to say a first rule on that bottom 2D line is elevate that to 100. So that line is now elevated to 100. And yeah, hey, throw a 3% positive grade slope on that line. And then give me a 2% cross slope to the 2D line. So that 2D line now is not only just elevated, it is also sloped at a 2% positive slope away from my first line where I've elevated. And then, hey, at that specific point, give me a 4% slope. And so from that point on, there's a 4% cross slope, but there's a transition now between that 2%, instruction number 3, and the 4%, instruction number 4. And what something like this could look like within TBC is something like this. So this is the vertical design tools. It's included in the data prep tab as of the publishing of this video. And that is a screenshot. The construction development team has also really improved the cross-sections extraction. So being able to import PDF cross-sections to multiple sheets has been highly automated. So you have the ability now to select multiple cross-sections at the same time. These 3D CAD cross sections can now be converted to stored cross sections or 3D line work. And then you can use this 3D line work to edit cross sections or build surfaces for corridor takeoff. In some initial beta testing and customer testing of this functionality, we're finding that our customers are saving days of effort. So when what used to take days to digitalize cross sections will now take hours. This is a tremendous enhancement and efficiency improvement. In TBC version 5.20, we also improve the processing speed for camera calibration and surface generation. This is for parity across the Trimble Business Center aerial photogrammetry engine and the UAS Master aerial photogrammetry engine. The UAS Master program is also included in the TBC installation and licensed with the same aerial photogrammetry. But these improvements really affect those users staying in TBC for aerial photogrammetry processing. So this means better tie point matching and camera modeling for enhanced georeferencing, which leads to more successful processing of challenging field data, lack of contrast, for example. I remember doing a project, an adjustment project with an evergreen forest on a nice background of white snow. That is a perfect example of where you'd expect improved tie point matching and better georeferencing with this enhancement. Also in 5.20, allow for a better distribution of automatic tie points for more tie points and precise image measurements in low textured areas. And then we've also added additional support for imagery, images up to 103 megapixels, which could future-proof some things that we want to do as we continue to evolve and improve our aerial photogrammetry workflows in TBC. All right, we've got a nice GIS enhancement here. When connecting to a GIS data source, you can use the GIS feature class name or the alias to create a feature code in your feature code library, your FXL. Why this matters is that, well, if you want to use aliases, aliases can be more descriptive than names, but also longer. As you see there from that top screenshot, it can be really hard to read on a small handheld screen. It's hard to read here in a blown up screenshot. And if you'd like, you can use names. Names are always unique, but aliases do not have to be. So this gives you more options to customize the GIS connection to your feature coding in TBC. All right, now there is just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Nope. There is a bunch of mobile mapping and MX9 related enhancements in version 5.20. We've really focused on improving some mobile mapping, particularly along the lines of registration of data. And one of those major enhancements is now a plane picker for target-based registration for mobile mapping data. This improved target picking routine allows selection between the scan points. And so how this works is a best fit plane is created from the scan points. The user pick is on that plane, not snapped to a point cloud. This allows for higher accuracy of target selections and uses points from both laser heads if you collected with both laser heads. You can use in for three-dimensional targets, either horizontal or vertical, or anything in between. And this mode is toggleable if you do want to assure that you're snapping directly to the point cloud. We've also added a nice noise filter for point cloud data from MX9. There are 3 predefined filters: default, rail, and power lines. You would pick the setting based on the data set to generate when generating mobile mapping scans. And this really allows for cleaner point clouds and reduces potentially the point cloud size with that range filter. I'll show you some examples here in the next coming slides. You'll really see some differences. So default, rail, and power lines, remember those 3. With the default filter on versus no filter, you see the no filter there on the left and the default on the right. Notice the improvement in the point cloud density around those sign edges. Or Again, with the no filter enabled and the default filter enabled, look at the noise removal around the sign faces in these series of screenshots. With the rail filter example, this really highlights the importance of picking the right filter for your point cloud and your project. The default filter is enabled on the left and the rail filter is enabled on the right. Notice how the false returns around the track are eliminated in the right. For a Powerline filter example with the default filter enabled, okay, there's some gaps there. Notice how on the right with the Powerline filter enabled, more points are kept along the lines, the power overhead lines with the Powerlines filter as compared to the default filter. We've got a new export in the mobile mapping community, uses Solve 3D, some customers do, and it's a third-party online platform to view and manage and render point cloud data without any images. This was formerly called Site Visit 360. We've had a decent number of customers asking for this. Solve 3D export, Solve 3D and Site Visit 360 are the same. Now we've got a dedicated export to get your mobile mapping and your MX9 data into Solve 3D. In version 5.20, we've added some trajectory flexibility to import or use the trajectory, SBET from the property pane. So using a new trajectory in the generate and update scans command window as well. These scans are managed by the trajectories really, so it's easier to trace which scans came from which trajectory. And you can also toggle the trajectory to control scan visibility. We have added the concept of validation points inside the registration. So the way that this works, points can be selected as GCPs, ground control points, but not used in the registration computation. This can be useful as an independent check of the registration quality. And as well, these control points that are used in the adjustment and the validation points that are not are included in the mission report. So you really do have a nice set of independent checks here. Speaking of the mission report, we have now included in version 5.20 a formal mission report that has registration info. This includes information about runs and trajectories and scans and registration residuals and which ground control points were used. This, of course, every surveyor loves traceability and provides accountability for TBC's mobile mapping data processing steps. This follows established reporting format for HTML-based reports in TBC. This screenshot here on the left shouldn't look any different than any other HTML report format that's been in TBC for quite a number of years now. So consistency there with our mobile mapping MX9 mission report. Another exciting feature for mobile mapping in MX9 is the ability to handle long runs better. Long runs, several kilometers, will be automatically split into smaller segments. This is particularly useful when pausing data collection in the field is not an option, such as railway surveys. What we do is we handle the scale factor properly to assure positional accuracy throughout the run. So instead of applying one single scale factor to a long single run, each segment are now scaled based on their positions and elevations. TBC handles the split and scale factor changes with minimum impact to data management and user workflow because we leverage the split runs command. Before scan generation, this is independent. The split runs is used behind the scenes for the long run management, but there's also a new split run command where the user can select a run and pick a point where to split. In the command, you can get the UTC time and the distance from the start run of from the menu, as you see there in the screenshot. And a split run performs the exact same as an unsplit run. So there's no difference in how TBC handles runs that have been split versus full runs that come directly from the data collector. This allows you to focus on one area of a project, and you can process only what is needed. You can spread data out over several TBC projects, or if you collected a whole bunch of data and need to process only just a certain part of that area, of the total area collected, you could split the run and just process that split run. We've added a run to reference run registration as well. So uses the point cloud matching from the terrestrial scanning registration routines that have been in TBC for a while. You adjust the trajectory based on that matching point cloud result, and the residuals are presented and available for that mission report. Here's a good example of that where you could potentially have a slight mismatch of data run to run, and then the sign there on the right has those data registered to each other. In addition, for mobile mapping folks, we have added a colorized timestamp export via the MX9 export to TMX. The timestamped colorized LAS export option is now added, so you can export colorized timestamped LAS out of TBC. All right, for those of you who've leveraged TBC's tunneling workflows, this is a nice add to now add a quantity summary at the end of the tunnel as-built report. So quantities in the custom tunnel as-built report are now tallied and included. You can configure which values, I believe I show all of them there, which to display in the Microsoft Word data fields, just like you would with any other customized report. And the values in this summary table are summed from the cross-sections in the report only. So if I had 10 cross-sections in the tunnel as-built report, the summary will be of those quantities in those 10 cross-sections. All right, those are the new features and enhancements there are. Like I mentioned, there are more, and I would really encourage you to read the README and the release notes. Those are great TBC resources. And hey, speaking of TBC resources, I just gave myself a pretty sweet segue into the other TBC resources. Number one, I would recommend bookmarking our TBC webpage. That is trimble.com/TBC. This is where we really post testimonials. Don't take my word for it, take our customers' word for it, and links to our other resources and bulletins and updates and readmes and release notes and all sorts of information. All of the resources that I have here are linked in some way. You can get to them from via the TBC homepage. So trimble.com/TBC. One of those nice resources on the TBC homepage are the TBC Tutorials. At the release time of version 5.20 here, November 2019, we have 45 full tutorials up where we have a complete data set, as well as a PDF document with instructions, step-by-step instructions and screenshots illustrating the workflows that are described in the data set. So great way to learn, great way to brush up on your TBC knowledge. We have a growing TBC YouTube channel as well. Unlike this presentation, we try to be a little bit more respectful of your time. These videos on the TBC YouTube channel should just be a couple minutes long, not so much focused on workflows, but more focused on individual functionality, getting really hands-on into the software, showing you what a command does, or showing you what a specific routine does. 30 workflow-based playlists at this time, including 270 plus videos. That's the TBC survey channel that serves both the TBC survey and construction markets. Speaking more of workflows, that's what our TBC monthly power hours are for. So we started these back in August of 2015. All sessions are archived and available on demand for free. And as the name implies, they are monthly, typically the last Wednesday of every month. We've done one every month since August of 2015. So we've got 50 or so again at the time of this recording, November 2019. 50 or so monthly power hours where we take an industry expert, a professional, one of the Trimble distribution partners, and we go through a workflow, we break it down, we showcase it, we show how you can complete it in TBC, and then we take some questions and follow up. Really a great way to learn. Like I said, these sessions are on demand, available and archived. Couple of shameless plugs here. We had an excellent session if you're interested in learning more about the Trimble X7 back in October of 2019, integrating X7 data with the SX10 and R10 on a topo project. The power hour for November will be on publishing to Trimble Clarity from TBC, and you get some insider good knowledge on the Trimble Clarity product. And then for December 2019, we'll do a TBC team live. We've done these the last couple of years where we kind of turn the cameras around. You get to know us a little bit more, do some fun games, some trivia, some little insight there, a little bit lighter way to end the Power Hour year for TBC. We've got the TBC Community, a couple of them here now, starting with Geospatial. So everything to serve the Geospatial user, including a tip of the week where it's a quick hitter on a tip or a trick or something that you hopefully didn't know TBC could do. There's a lot of them. There's about 100 of them. Something that you'd be able to quickly learn something there, as well as a blog format where you can interact with other users worldwide or interact with the TBC team. We do monitor it, we do interact with it. We think it's a great way to meet and understand some of the challenges and some of the things that our users are using TBC for. There's a Trimble Geospatial help portal, help.trimblegeospatial.com. That's home to everything that I'm mentioning here for TBC. But as you can see there in the background, also Trimble Access, Sync Manager, Catalyst, PenMap, and TerraFlex, all products from the Geospatial portion division of Trimble. Back talking about communities, since Trimble Business Center is shared across the construction division as well as geospatial, there is a construction community that focuses on things like corridor modeling and takeoff and mass haul and drafting workflows. Lots of great content, a lot of back and forth there between users and members of the TBC team. There's also a TBC macros community page. So we've added the support to write IronPython based macros for TBC to integrate to complete new commands. That was released in November of 2018. This is a very lively community with great ways to learn how people have done it, seen how other people have done it to develop and start with developing your own Trimble Business Center macros. There's the Trimble Retrieve or the TBC Retrieve or the TBC Library pages. This often is referred to. This is an online platform with videos, tutorials, and learning tiles available on demand, where you can ask questions and post comments or download these tiles. Managed traditionally by the Civil Engineering and Construction Division for our Site Tech distribution channel, but now it is open to all users. A great way to learn more, and there'll be information on version 5.20 here very, very shortly. And then last and certainly not least is the TBC news page. This is a feed directly into the TBC start page when you start the software with announcements, webinars, tips of the week. Great way to stay in touch. We are pretty dynamic with updating this to learn the latest on what's going on with TBC. And speaking of what's going on in TBC, that is the latest version right there, version 5.20 released. This has been a highlight video. Look for more and more detailed YouTube videos on specific new functionality here. And with that, I want to thank you for your time. Hope you learned something here and you're excited to get into TBC version 5.20.